Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today I will try to make something like a bricks in the Last of Us style. So today is the date that this game launched, so I think in this something in that style could be cool. So the first thing I will do will be a tile generator that I will decrease the X amount and increase the I to make the bricks. And here in the horizontal and vertical, I will make some small changes, and I will switch the offset to 0.5 to make something like this. I can already put the luminance random, but here in my bricks pattern, I will switch to square. I don't want to square. Something like this should work. Let me increase the I amount. Something like this should work well. So, okay. Now what I will do will be a flood fill and a flood fill gradient. With this flood fill gradient, I will make my base brick. So, for example, let me already set up the scale. I will create a flood fill grayscale, random grayscale. I will put right here, and I will make a distance node that I will put my source input in my flood fill gradient and the mask input on this one, and I will duplicate and I will put the distance on this flood fill. And now what I will do is create a blend between these two and create a levels to control the height of my min darken. Let me see. Instead of min darken, maybe I can just use the multiply. Should work well for this situation. And what I will did next? First, maybe I can just go back here and decrease a little bit this dark part into something like this, and I will make a invert on this edge detect. I will make a very soft bevel like this. With the levels I will invert. Let me select the blur and the slope blur. To make something like this, and a warp with the miser noise, and a very soft blur HQ to make some distortion. This warp maybe can enter before this slope blur. maybe right here on this level, because I will create a levels with this one and a levels to control the depth of this min max. Okay, let me drag this back. I will create some deformation, so I will create a slope with a Gaussian noise. And a blend with a levels and a min darken to control the depth of this damage. What I will do next is create maybe a warp using the clouds tree as my base, so I will make a very soft blur. And let's try very soft multiply on this. What I can do also is take some of this flood fill with distance. I can make angle a new angle with angle variation, and with the only source I can blend with a cloud as a linear. With the levels, increase the depth of this. For example, create a new blend right here and select multiply, and I can increase the depth of this damage. And with a mask, I will create a levels and put on this opacity. Okay, with something like this, I will create a tile sampler with a paraboloid, some scale, scale random, position, and color random. Let me decrease a little bit more. I will make a levels and I will invert and make a directional warp based on the bricks. and make a min-max to make some specific damage on the surface. This also I can create a directional warp using these clouds. Let me increase my normals. I will take off this directional warp so I can make some kind of damage like this. It's very interesting. Let me delete this one. And I will copy and paste this tile sampler because I want to create something like this for small damage like small dots like this. And I will create a slope, clouds, I will make a very soft blur and a slope blur with the grayscale. With these levels I will invert and make a min-max to make some damage on the surface. I will make a mask random. Okay, this can be my base shape of my bricks. So what I will do next is create something like a mask for the middle of these bricks. So I will go back here in my base shape and again I can copy and paste this tile sampler, but this time I will increase a lot the X and Y amount and go back here in my position random. And what I will do is create a levels to invert this one and put this on the mask map input and go here in mask map threshold. Um, Let me see, maybe I can increase, maybe use this shape because I can just increase the whites like this. This will be better. So let me do some position random. And what I will do is create a height blend. I will select this one right here, make a blur. Let me go back with this amount of shapes. Let me decrease this blur into something like this. I will increase the contrast to max and decrease the height offset. After this blur, I will take the spots and make a multiply. With this height blend, let me increase more. Maybe decrease a little bit the contrast. No. And on this final blend, I will make a dirt, dirt 1. Better, I will use the dirt 2 just to make some small dots on the surface. I will use dot linear and decrease the opacity into something like this. I think the bricks are pretty decent. So next what I will do is try to put some moss and green formation on this. First I will start making the colors. So with the gradient I will make a base color. This can be my base. I will go back here when I did this mask. I will make a new gradient to make some darker bricks. On this blend, let's select, let's try maybe something multiply. Okay. Maybe can be a little bit more saturated. A mix between dark and saturated. Okay, I can start with this. So what we will do next is try to make some patterns like this. And make the balance. Make a directional warp to break this balance. Like this one, I will put just hold Alt that you can put a dot like this, and with this dot I will put on my directional warp. make this grunt, we'll turn off the white. Can put our orange like this. I put a sharpen to make this detail more interesting. I will take a high pass grayscale on this one and make a gradient map to take this white information. I can make a slope. I can just use a noise pattern. Mm, maybe clouds 2 could be better. So what I will do right here, I will create a blend and take a grunt, maybe something like this. Now I will create the curvature. And with the levels, I will invert, blend with this first mask. Let me hold this back and blend with this other mask. Can use the grayscale conversion. And put here in my roughness map. I will just go back here and try to put more saturated colors. This one. Okay, next I will take the blend of this mask. Let me go back here, put this on my opacity, where it is, and with a gradient map, I will create a new blend right here, and I will use the clouds too. Let me increase the scale because I will make some subtract. Okay, I think now it's better. We'll use this one to make this more brighter. So I will go back here in my opacity. Oops, sorry. Instead of use this, I go and use the mask. Will be better. Okay. Um, Now what I will do will be very simple. I will go back here and let's see, I can use this one, this dash gradient. And what I will did is take a Perlin noise. I will make a blur on the shape, create a slope blur like this. With the blend, I can make a subtract to make this variation. And what we did is create something like a moss for this. So, for example, I can take this one, create a blend, take a spot, use a multiply, So I go back here and I will put this on that linear and try to make a blend right here, taking off the opacity. We'll take off some opacity. I will go back here in that linear and decrease a little bit. So what we did next is try to create a levels based on these bricks. For example, I increase the white and decrease a lot the black and try to blend a subtract like this. So I can increase and decrease this moss and follows the bricks. This is really cool. What I will do next is try to create some variation for these bricks. So for example, for this moss, sorry, I will use the dirt to create a gradient. Instead use the dirt 4, maybe I can use just the dirt 2. Let me take all of this, turn off and make something like a saturated yellow. Oops, maybe I can just switch these two. And we have this one to create a transform. Let me divide by 2 for 2 times. I will blend back. With a histogram scheme. I take some of them and create a gradient map. Take off this. Take off the opacity of the black, and with the histogram scheme I can control the intensity of this. So I think this redBricks needs more variation color. So what I will do is create something like a cloud tree, make a directional warp, using this for example, with a gradient map. We'll make some dirt. Now we'll create a new one, but this time just white. Push the black and blend again. Let me push the white. With this curvature, I can use something like this gradient map to take some edges. With these clouds, I will take literally some random colors. Let's blend. I will go back here in this hue saturation. I will try to find a new color for this moss, pushing more like this yellow. I can use transform if I want to scale this to the top, can be interesting. Okay, I will rotate to find a new pattern for these colors. So what I will do next is I can take this tile sampler as an example. I will decrease the scale. Here in my pattern input, I will take a polygon, increase the curves, and I will blend with a spots too. With something like this. What I will do next is take this shape that I did and blend back with my base blend. And I will try to take something like a vibrant red with a gradient map, gradient linear. I will rotate, and with the color, the mask map input, I will increase the mask map threshold. Let me take now a mask map. We'll switch the tally mode to absolute. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I see you next time.